Wednesday, October 10th, 2022, Municipal Code Enforcement Board meeting is now being called to order. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You didn't give me my opening spiel.
You could have memorized by now, huh?
Sort of, kind of do, but I don't. Do you have a copy of that? No, all I have is the.
Okay, if you want to start with ex parte, I'll get you a copy of the.
Okay. All right, she's going to find my opening comments. We're going to start with ex parte communications. This time I'd like to ask the board members if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board. If you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, the when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you've had to receive written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide a copy of it to the city clerk so it can be filed in the record. Starting at this end, Gina?
I've had none.
None.
I've had none?
I've had none.
I've had none. I've had none.
Okay. While we're waiting for her, I guess, can we do the approval of the minutes, Ernie, while we're waiting for her to?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So next is the approval of the meeting minutes held on July 13th, 2022. I assume everybody has had a copy and has had a chance to review. Is there anybody that has any changes, additions, corrections? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. All right, we're going to hold off on the hearings until we explain to everybody what's going on. And even though I've done this for many years, I do not have that memorized. That's fine. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rule of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I'd like to ask all those who expect to give testimony tonight to please stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. As per our standard operating procedure, we will be taking a couple cases out of order tonight, gentlemen. Our first case will be 22-3423, and then the second case will be under old business, and that will be case number 217044, and then we'll move back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, ready to begin?
Did we do approval of the minutes?
We did. And they were approved. Do you need to know who made the motion, who made the second?
Bill made the motion, I made the second.
Perfect.
No nays.
I'm ready.
This is 3423.
Our first case. will be case number
3423.
22-3423, City versus Douglas William Tippins II, for the property located at 8710 Beverly Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation for sections 81022 hot and cold water supply, 81021 sanitary facilities, and 2291 city garbage services required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated on May 23rd, 2022. Code received a complaint of squatters living at the residence from a Edwards Tippin, the deceased owner's brother. He was trying to terminate the water service, but was advised by utility billing to supply a death certificate and letter from his nephew, the new owner, to have the water turned off at the residence. He was only able to supply a death certificate, but not the required letter to have services terminated. I responded to the residence and met with a Mr. Cibrone. I ascertained that he did live at the residence and had moved out a while back, but he returned after the owner died because the TICO services were still active in his name. He provided identification in the form of a Florida DL and a TICO bill with his name and the address of the residence at 8710 Beverly Drive. He further advised he was not moving out at this time of my visit. The city services were still active. On June 24, 2022, we received a complaint from the next door neighbor advising the subjects at the residence were stealing water from her. I checked Naviline and noted city services to the residents were terminated on June 8, 2022. At this time, I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of July 14, 2022. I obtained service at the residence and also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On July 5th, 2022, I was contacted by Ms. Christina Tippins, the wife of the owner. She advised they did not have the money for an eviction. My inspection on July 14, 2022, noticed the residence still being occupied without city services. This time I'd like to submit a printout of the Naviline and a photo of showing vehicles in the driveway.
We'll accept those, thank you.
Thank you.
Based on the email that I received this morning from Temple Terrace Police Department, their residence is still occupied. They have been to that residence 22 times since February and made multiple arrests. So the residence is out of compliance.
Do you have a copy of the email?
Yes, sir.
You want to submit that into evidence? So as of right now, the property is still in violation of all three code violations.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Based on that email.
Based on that email, yep. Any questions for the code officer? Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just, it's maybe out of your realm of knowledge, but as far as getting the squatters out, is there anything else that could be done other than these people have to file an eviction notice? I'm just curious what.
We made it as uncomfortable as possible by cutting off the water. They started to steal city's water. We had the meters removed. Then we had the service cut across the street so they couldn't tap back into the city water. So we've done everything the city can to help them along.
Maybe this is a question for Ernie as far as like, so the next step is simply, the only thing that can be done at this point is to get an eviction notice created? Is that? Because I have a hard time with finding people for something like that. I'm just.
No, I
Right,
understand.
I
And,
agree.
yeah, you know, the police are gonna be very hesitant to move anybody out of a
Right.
dwelling until a court has, you know, issued a writ of possession to allow them to do that. I'm aware of no other process, you know, no other process. I know that it's a tedious process, but that's the one that I've always been familiar with.
Is there anything the city could do financially to help these people initiate a case? I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out there, like what, because they say they don't have money to initiate an eviction notice. Is there something the city could do to facilitate that?
Not that I'm aware of, and then that would all be more of a, I don't know if I'm even in a position to answer that question, being the legal department.
You probably don't know this, but you said that the water's been disconnected. Has the electric been disconnected? Is that still? Maybe you don't know either, but,
Based on the email, the power's been disconnected.
okay, so there's no utilities there whatsoever, and obviously the trash isn't getting picked up either, so.
Trash is building up in the
Yeah.
carport backyard.
All right. I think the Are you the owner? Yeah, come on up and state your name and address for the records, and maybe you can fill in some of the blanks.
My name is Christine Ann Tippins, and I'm the wife of William Tippins. We live at 9110 Wood Terrace Drive in Temple Terrace, too.
Okay.
Yep, around the corner. We actually took over possession of the house, put it in my husband's name when his father passed away.
Okay,
Mike Sabrone had lived there for a portion of the time being a caregiver. His father had cancer. Prior to him dying, Michael moved out. He didn't come back to that house until April of 2022. His dad died a year ago. So when he did get back in, he broke in through the windows. We had proof of that. We called the police. They wouldn't do anything because they had been to the house to make arrests before, and he had been there. So they had seen him. I didn't hear that the electric was in his name at that time. But he had been in the house living there, so the police said he has a lease. Well, he has produced a lease. It's under somebody named Lewis's name, and it's fraudulent. The water department has it. They've spelled my husband's name wrong. It's not his signature. So I'm like, can we call the police back? Because now the only lease they have provided is a fraudulent lease. And they're still saying, no, you have to go through the eviction
fiction
process.
process, yeah.
But the good news is we do have a short sale in process.
Okay.
And I just got message the other day that it's supposed to close in 2 weeks. So the only good news is it's coming out of mine and my husband's name. It's going into somebody else.
else's.
And they're supposed to be fully aware that there are squatters there.
Okay,
So I don't know if he's prepared to go through all the eviction process, but we drove by today and the neighbors said, even though the police said that I thought somebody was there last night, they said they hadn't seen anybody really in the last couple of days, unless it's just Michael Sabrone living in there by himself. But last time we went by, there was 10 cars there. There's people living in the shed. I mean, it's a total crack house now. The windows are being busted out. They're stealing everything they can from the neighbors.
Michael is not a relative of yours, right?
No, no, not at all.
Could you get the cars towed?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're not permanent.
They're not there more.
There was one that was there quite a bit, but it's different cars. I mean, I've seen most
Well, you
Because I
put-
mean, I
driveway.
see one, and this picture is old, but you know, it's backed into the carport. Like I could.
Yeah, no, Michael doesn't have a car, so it's not his. But
you
there's
said that
people
the
coming
short
and
sale is gonna be complete in 2 weeks, right?
They said it should be, the addendum I got on my phone says they're trying to close it by September 9th.
Okay,
So I'm hoping, at least if that goes through, it might start y'all's process back over with the new owners, but at least
okay,
we're trying to get it sold to an investor who will actually fix the house up. We were hoping to get it done better, but once Michael broke through the window, he actually kind of cleaned it up inside, and it messed us up on the short sale because they had to come back and keep reevaluating it. So, but now I did go in one day, and there was people probably all over. I was showing it to somebody. I have my real estate license too, but I was showing it to somebody, and there were people
Ooh,
everywhere, and pit bulls in there. Scary.
very good. Any other questions?
So
Go ahead.
you feel fairly certain that it'll be out of your hands in a month, and hopefully?
Yeah, they said September 9th is the addendum that the new owner signed. So I'm praying that it goes through, but with all real estate transactions, something can happen at
Right,
the last
yeah.
minute. And
Yeah.
we only did this because we were trying to find somebody to purchase the house and make it look better for the community. It's a cute little neighborhood, and this is an eyesore. So we took it over thinking, maybe we can make a couple bucks, sell the house,
Sure.
get a nice family in there, and these people moved right in after we did this, and the police would not help at all. I mean, they were like, we can't. They said they have a lease.
You gotta go through the eviction.
Yeah, and I just lost my job, and we just can't afford it right now.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Ernie?
When they came out, they said they had a lease.
said they had a
Went to the
lease.
water department to get the water turned on. They provided a lease, and they wouldn't turn water department wouldn't turn it on because it's fraudulent lease. It lists my husband as William Tippett. In the email, it says William Tippings. Then in the lease, it says William Tippins Jr., and he's not. He's William Douglas Tippins II. So they don't even know his real name. The lease isn't signed, but the security deposit part is. It doesn't give any address to send rent to. It's a crappy little lease, but it's
Piece of paper,
fraudulent.
it's a piece of paper that's meaningless.
Yeah.
Right.
That's, again, I think another reason why it has to.
Yeah, understood.
Well, yeah, because see, initially the police said, if we hadn't seen him here and he hadn't said he had a lease, we could kick him out. I'm like, okay, well now he gave somebody a lease and it's fraudulent, but they still won't kick him out. So yeah, it's sad.
But you think by 9/9 it'll?
I'm praying by 9/9 that will happen. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
If there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I'll shoot for this one.
All right, thank you.
All right, so in case number 22-3423, I move the city is proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property located at 8710 Beverly Drive. The applicable code sections are 8-102 subsection 1 and 8-102 subsection 2 and 22-91. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which have been received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before the next meeting is
Number 14th.
September 14th. If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day of the violations continue past the date set for compliance upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator. I move that the fine be $25 per day. Can I
Yep.
put an explanation on that now, or can I wait till discussion?
Let's wait till the discussion.
Okay.
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm not sure how this thing works. Anyway,
Is it lit up?
yes, it's red.
You're live then.
Okay. Okay, so it's going to transfer hands on the 9th,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Let's assume that that happens. It takes time for it to be recorded. So are we going to be, I guess, because you're going to have the new people, the new owners in, so it'll be against the new owners?
Yes.
But they will not have had time to necessarily clean it up.
Then they will come in front of us
Okay,
and ask for an extension.
okay.
Actually, if I can add on to that,
Sure.
I was waiting to see how this went, but Ms. Tippins, you'll need to provide, the new owners with, the notices of violation and everything. They need to be aware of this and the order and everything.
So,
These violations, just so you know, these violations for occupying a structure without utilities.
right,
So once that squatter is out, technically, the
It's
violation is.
it's gone,
in
right.
compliance.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And the new owner, the case would close, once that closing, like this case would actually come to a closing, and we would have to open up, generate a new case
It's a new owner.
got it,
And-
okay.
How do you, if you go there tomorrow and there's nobody there, do you, are you?
There's gotta be a pattern of.
Yeah, so what do you guys, do you go 3 days in a row, 5 days in a row, a week in a row, what do you,
Week or two,
okay,
I mean, honestly.
yeah, that's fine, yeah, okay,
So we'll definitely go there before September 14th.
yeah, okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So you have been found in violation, okay, you have until September 14th to fix the violation, and fixing the violation means nobody lives there anymore, okay, with or without power. If the situation does not change or something happens to your short sale, you need to come back here on the 14th and let us know that, okay? And then at that time, you can ask for an extension. No guarantees that you'll get one, but you can certainly ask. You probably your public hearing is closed. So if you have a question, you can ask the code officer, and he can respond to those. If he doesn't know the answer, he can go to Ernie and we'll get you an answer tonight, okay? But that's the way it works, and hopefully everything goes as planned. And you won't have to come back and see us, but good luck and thank you very much. Next case,
Okay, we are gonna go down to unfinished business. And that will be case number
7044.
217044, City versus Mutaz Marzouk for the property located at 7545 Terrace Ridge Drive. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight, and there is someone here to speak.
Good afternoon. I'm here,
Name and address first, please.
Blue Jane Marzouk, 7545 Terrace River Drive.
Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of my dad, Mutaz. He wasn't able to be here today, but I'm not sure if you have any questions for me first.
Well, why don't you remind us of what the violation is? It says permits, but what exactly does that entail? If you know.
I don't think I can explain it very well. I don't know in detail, honestly. I just know structural design.
Because I'm just
Issues
trying
with
to figure out which case you are, quite frankly. What's, okay, yeah, maybe he can shed some light on this. Let's wait for Jose and then catch you up, okay?
Retention wall, I think.
Huh?
Retention wall.
Yeah, I don't remember. Can you bring us up to speed on what permits are we waiting on?
Yes, sir. Jose Silva, co-compliance. This is the case of the retaining wall that was being built in the backyard without engineering.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha, okay. Now I remember.
Got it?
Yep, thank you, sir.
So regarding the wall,
Yeah.
I do have a letter from the engineer that it was observed by, or, I mean, I have it with me if you want it.
If you want to submit it into evidence, you're more welcome to. It's up to you.
Is that your only copy?
No.
Because obviously you'll have to submit one to the building official.
Okay.
Because I'm sure this is a part of it.
It's my only copy with me at the moment, but I can get another copy.
Now, do you have a copy at home for yourself?
Hang on a second.
Because we don't want to take your only copy.
Can you make a copy for her? Why don't you go ahead and do that? We'll get you a copy now. That way we can put one to evidence and you can keep that one. Because you will
I don't
have,
want to make things harder on you.
Yeah.
You can help it.
I have another copy, but just to be safe, you can make a copy.
yeah, yeah. And we'll just wait for her to get back, since she's recording the minutes. Oh, we'd have to wait for you anyway.
Yeah.
You're all integral to the process.
It's okay, I have the audio.
Okay, you sure?
Okay.
Okay, so while she's making the copy, why don't you tell us, if you know, where your father is in the process of getting the permit? Because the violation is the lack of a permit.
It's in the process. He just needs an extension, at least a couple months.
Couple months?
Yes.
Okay, why do you think you need a couple months?
At the moment, his father's in the ICU in critical care, so, I mean, which is why he wasn't able to be here today. I have a letter from the hospital if you want that. But, I mean, I think he just needs a couple months to get things in the works. The letter right there says that, you know, at least 60 days are needed for the project to be completed. So, yeah.
Okay.
For the project
Well,
to be completed.
Yeah, the violation is simply getting the permit. We don't care how long it takes you to build it. Has any of that stuff, has the letter or anything else been submitted to the building department for the permit?
I don't know.
No, answer is no, okay. So possibly you might be able to speed things up if you were to be able to just take that letter down to the building department and explain what you just explained to us. Because all you gotta do is get a permit. We don't care how long it takes you to
Speed
build
things
it.
up in the process of getting a permit, you mean?
Yes,
Okay. So, is an extension possible?
we'll find out.
I mean, it's certainly within the norm to give an extension. Generally, we don't do several months at a time. Normally, we might do like a month or two at a time, depending on the circumstances. But I mean, again, once the permit is done, and really it's just submitting the paperwork for the permit, that's the easy part, because then the permit's good for, I mean, Tom could tell you the code 6 months once you get a permit.
6 months.
Yeah.
But they have to pay for the permit and also apply for the permit.
Right.
So there's a process. It's not just applying for the permit. It's gonna close this case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they gotta actually they gotta get the permit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
But
approved
this-
and everything.
And this letter is part of the permitting process. It's an engineering review or an engineering assessment. I don't know what.
Essentially, the letter says that the wall is structurally stable.
Well, and in addition to that, it also says that they're waiting on another engineer to do the drainage analysis, right?
Right.
And that was a big part, I think, of the.
Yes, it was.
Because it's backing up water against the street now,
Yes.
whereas it used to flow.
So,
And that has not been done yet.
right.
That's
So
waiting
that's
for.
a piece of it. So, anyway,
The way sorry,
go ahead.
the way I read that letter, it says 60 days to complete the project, and the project is the drawings.
So they need the drawings to get the permit.
Exactly, so, exactly, so 60 days to get the drawings, that's the way I read it. That's what the engineer says.
Right.
And the retaining wall's already been built, right?
Yes.
Right.
So we could potentially be running into erosion problems or something like that.
Yeah.
So, my suggestion to you gentlemen is to do as we always do, is to give it 30 days, and that way you can come back in 30 days and tell us where you're at. That keeps you invested in the project, and it keeps us up to date, okay? That's my suggestion to them. They will make the final decision as to whether or not you get an extension, but before you leave here tonight, you'll know, okay? So you could, if there's no other questions for the respondent, you're welcome to have a seat.
I mean, I would move to give an extension until September 14th.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, that is the motion, okay.
Yeah, that is the motion. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Okay, so you have been granted a 30-day extension. Hopefully in 30 days, there'll be some progress, but if you do not have a permit within 30 days, you need to come back to us on September 14th and let us know whether or not you had the permit, and if you don't, why, and when you might get it, okay? And sorry, hopefully things will work out for your dad's, his father? Okay, hopefully things will work out. Okay, thank you for coming tonight, and please express our concern to your father. All right, so we're gonna go back to the beginning. The first case will be 22-2163.
Case number 222163, City versus Forever Trust LLC for the property located at 309 Belle Claire Place. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10(3)B, sanitation grass weeds. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening again, board members. Jose Silva, Co-Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on April 25th, 2022. My inspection at the time noted the front yard grass to be overgrown with glass panes missing from 2 of the front windows. The residence was vacant, so I completed notice of violation with a compliance date of May 20, 2022. Posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall, so mail copies both certified and regular mail to the registered owner. On May 2nd, 2022, I was contacted by the owner requesting a 30-day extension, which was granted. My inspection on June 10th, 2022, noted the windows repair. Prior to this inspection, the grass had been cut, but at the time of June 10th, 2022, it was overgrown again. My inspection on June 28th, 2022, revealed the yard grass to still be overgrown. I'd like to submit 2 photographs, posting at the front door and of the overgrown grass.
We'll accept those, thank you.
As of today's date, the property is in compliance and I'm seeking a finding.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll take this one.
Thank you.
Okay, case number 22-2163, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist at the property located at 309 Belle Claire Place. Code violation, section 10-3, subsection B. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that no fine be imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 222382, City versus Shabazz Sheikh and Haba Ahmad for the property located at 309 South River Hills Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10-3A, sanitation grass weeds, 150. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening again, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on May 4th, 2022. My inspection noted the grass of the vacant lot and parkway area were overgrown. This time I mailed a door hanger to the owners with a compliance date of May 13th, 2022. My inspection on May 16th, 2022 noted no change, so I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of May 26, 2022. Posted the notice at the vacant lot as well as City Hall, mailed copies both certified, regular mail to the address of the registered owner. My inspection on May 31st, 2022 noted the lot, parkway grass cut. This time the case was brought into compliance and closed. On June 28, 2022, I noted the lot grass and parkway area again to be overgrown. Since it was within 45 days of the violation reoccurred, was set for the MCEB. This time I'd like to submit 2 photographs, the posting at the lot and the overgrown grass.
We'll accept those. Thank you. Just for my own edification, I do have one question. What is the difference between 10-3A and 10-3B?
A is a vacant lot.
Okay,
The other one is for residential.
gotcha. Very good, thank you. Any other questions for the code officer?
If a property is in compliance and like to submit an affidavit of
Very
compliance.
good, we'll accept that.
Thank you.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Awesome.
In case number 22-2382, I move that the city is proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 10702 Morning Dew Way in
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, 309
Wait.
South River Hills Drive.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at their address. At 309 South River Hills Drive, Temple Terrace. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
You have a motion?
Did you list the code section that was the violation, or maybe I missed that?
Is there a subsection? I did not mention the subsection because
If you didn't mention, why don't you start over?
I'll start over, and I'll go here. Okay.
You're new, so we'll give you a pass.
Thank you. Okay, in case number 22-2382, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 309 South River Hills Drive. This motion is based, Section 10-3, subsection A. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case is case number 222859, City versus John Hines and Sharon Almand for the property located at 121 Ridgedale Road. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits, application required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on May 26, 2022 for installation of a wooden privacy fence without a permit. I left a door hanger with a re-inspection date of June 6. I went back to the site the next day and provided the resident a copy of a survey I found in the city's system to submit in order to obtain a permit. My re-inspection on June 8th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of violation on that date with a re-inspection date of June 14th, 2022. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both regular and certified mail, to the owner of record. My re-inspection on July 19th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing, and the case was scheduled for the August Municipal Code Board meeting. I did obtain service for the posting of the notice of violation directly to the property owner, Mr. Hines, on June 8th, 2022. This time I'd like to submit a copy of the affidavit of service and a copy of the stop work order. And I also would like to submit an affidavit of compliance, as the site is in compliance and I'm seeking a finding.
Very good. We'll accept all that. Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
In case number 22-2859, I move the city is proven by a greater weight of the evidence. The following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 121 Ridgedale Road. It was violation 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Doug Allen. Sorry, Alan. Doug, I forgot your last name there for a second. And other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case.
3257.
323257, City versus 7 Points Borrower LLC for the property located at 8524 Queen Brooks Court. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12861, subsection E, subsection 6, fences appearance. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Okay, before you begin, I just want to make sure all of you look at your violation section. It may be missing the E6, so write that in, so when you make the motion, we all have the correct violation, correct code section. Should be 112-861, subsection E, subsection 6.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance. This case was originated by me on June 15th, 2022 for a damaged wooden gate. I left a door hanger with a re-inspection date of June 29th. My re-inspection on July 1st showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on that date with a re-inspection date of July 15th, 2022. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My re-inspection on July 20th showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the August Municipal Code Board meeting. I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on July 1st and July 21st, 2022.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the damaged wooden gate. At this time, the site is in compliance, and I have submitted an affidavit of compliance with that package.
Very good. We'll accept that.
I'm seeking a finding.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Okay. I'll take this one.
Thank you.
In case number 22-3257. I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 8524 Queensbrook Court, violation section 12-861-E-6. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that no fine be imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next and last new case.
Case number 223869, City versus West Coast Enterprises LLC for the property located at 9620 Overlook Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10(3)B, sanitation grass weeds. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Department. This case was originated by me on July 15th, 2022 for overgrown conditions. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of July 18th, 2022. My reinspection on July 19th showed no change, so a notice of violation was generated on that date with a reinspection date of July 26, 2022. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on July 26 showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the August Municipal Code Board meeting. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on July 19th and 27th, 2022.
We'll accept that. Thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibits 2 and 3 show the overgrown condition. At this time, the site is in compliance, and I submitted an affidavit of compliance with that package, and I'm seeking a finding.
Okay, we'll accept that. Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll try it again.
Very good.
I'll get good at this if it's the last thing I do. All right. In case number 22-3869, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 9620 Overlook Drive, Section 10-3, subsection B. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. That finishes our new business. On to unfinished.
We'll move on to the second case on unfinished. Case number 22313, City versus Tanger Terrace LLC for the property located at 12318 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 220748, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12308 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 220749, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12310 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 220784, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12316 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 220953, City versus Tobias and Renee Gluck for the property located at 10608 North 52nd Street. An affidavit of non-compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 12861E6 dated July 14th, 2022. Case number 22-1492, City versus JR Premier Properties LLC for the property located at 608 Courtney Drive. An affidavit of noncompliance was submitted by Officer Silva for Section 810214A dated July 14th, 2022. Case number 22-1989, City versus Estate of Antonio and Dukes for the property located at 512 Caroline Street. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Director Brony for Section 810213D dated July 13th, 2022, and an affidavit of noncompliance for Section 810213C and 1034 dated July 14th, 2022. Case number 22-1432, City versus Saknarin and Chinjit Juklam for the property located at 5112 East 122nd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 22-2055, City versus Rebecca Marina for the property located at 406 Dunedin Avenue. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Silva for Section 103B dated July 21st, 2022. Case number 22-2099, City versus Sunrays Corporation for the property located at 9228 North 56th Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 103B, 8166-1C, 81667A, dated July 9th, 2022. Case number 22-2988, City versus Joseph and Angelina Lumia for the property located at 8725 Coral Don Court. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 103B, 810213H, 1034, and 12901, dated August 10th, 2022. And one more that wasn't on the agenda
Okay.
is case number 22-462, City versus Jorge Rosario for the property located at 9620 North 55th Street. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 1034 dated July 14th, 2022.
Very good, thank you. On to other board action. Anybody have any other board action? None? Oh, Ernie, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't remember if I reported this last month, but the Dudley Black properties, we did get compliance on that, and we did get settlement of those.
We did good.
Total about 21,000.
Oh, fantastic, very good, thank you. Anybody else have any new business? I have one item. On Wednesday, next week, August 17th, there's going to be a meet and greet for the potential candidates for the city manager position at the country club. And I think James probably has some more detailed information about what we can expect that evening.
Thank you, James Chambers, City Council. Yes, it's from 5:30 to 7 on Wednesday. The candidates will have 3 minutes to explain a little about themselves and introduce themselves formally on the stage. And then it'll be a meet and greet. They'll walk around. We want a lot of the public there, our citizens there, because we all have a vested interest in getting a good city manager. So you'll have a chance to talk to them, get a feel for them. At the end of the night, you'll be able to write down your comments if you choose to and submit them so the city council can read those comments.
Good.
So you'll have a way, and we'll get all your input from that.
Fantastic, thank you.
Refreshments?
There will be, well, yes, there will be some hors d'oeuvres, finger food and stuff like that. I don't know how much. We expect a big crowd. There will also be a cash bar if you choose so.
So there are how many? Like 10 of them?
No, there were 10 submitted. We narrowed it down to 5 and 1 alternate. And in the process of notifying them, 2 have dropped out. So as of now, we
Okay.
have 4 candidates.
Because I have the list of all of them. I didn't see, where would I find the list of the ones that are left, that are remaining?
You can ask the city clerk, or
Okay.
it's there. I don't remember.
No, that's fine. I just saw the notice I got had like all 10 of them there, so.
Yes.
One phone call to city clerk tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Solve that
I
problem.
can do that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
See you Wednesday night. We really want you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any new business? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.